So welcome to the Living Well with Fibromyalgia video series, and this is the session on managing low mood. What do we mean by low mood? Everyone feels low or down from time to time. It doesn't always mean something is wrong. Feeling low is common after distressing life events or major life changes, but sometimes periods of low mood happen for no obvious reason. When your mood is low, you may feel more tired, lacking confidence, frustrated, angry and worried. But a low mood will often pass after a couple of days or weeks, and there are some easy things you can try and small changes you can make that will usually help improve your mood. If you're still feeling down or no longer get pleasure from things for most of each day, and this lasts for several weeks, you may be experiencing depression. The tips in this presentation and in the workbook should help, but you may also want to find out about what further support is available. So when our mood is low, we will notice the change to our emotions, but there are also effects on our thoughts, our body and the way we do things. One way we can think about low mood and the impact that it has on us is to use this diagram, which is taken from cognitive behavioural therapy. It helps us to think about our thoughts, feelings, body and behaviour. Everything affects everything else, so our thoughts affect our feelings, our body and our behaviour, our body sensations will affect our thoughts, feelings and behaviour, and so on. On the next few slides, we look at some of the signs of low mood. You may have some of these. So low mood affects our emotions. That's probably the area we notice the most. So we might feel sad, or we might feel guilty or upset. We might be crying a lot. We might find that we can't enjoy things like we used to. We might feel alone even when we're in a crowd, or we might feel angry or worried. Tiredness, lack of energy and sleep disturbance can all be a part of fibromyalgia and not necessarily a sign of low mood, but they could also be made worse if your mood is low. So these physical signs can also be an important indicator of low mood. So these are some of the common signs of low mood regarding what we might think. So often people will lose confidence in themselves, they'll think negative thoughts about themselves, they'll expect the worst and think generally negative or gloomy thoughts about everything, including the future. They might think that everything seems hopeless, or thoughts about the fact that you dislike yourself. And memory and concentration are often made worse as well when someone has low mood. Low mood will also affect your behaviour, and you may notice changes, or the people around you may notice changes in your behaviour. So you may find it difficult to make decisions, or you just feel unmotivated, you can't be bothered. You avoid seeing people, even people you really care about. You might put things off, or you stop doing things you used to enjoy doing. What are the things that affect our mental well-being? Well, life affects us all differently, doesn't it? We all go through difficult times, and negative emotions can be a healthy reaction to the challenges that we face. But for many of us, things can become more serious, and each year, as many as 1 in 4 of us experiences a mental health problem. Being aware of what can affect our mental health can make it easier to understand when we or someone we care about are struggling. It helps us think about what we can do to improve things or where to get support. So our mental health can be affected by our childhood experiences, which shape our brain development when young, or the experiences we have throughout our life will also have an impact, including the relationships we have. Our genes and personality may also make some of us more likely to develop certain kinds of mental health problems. The way we think about life and the challenges we face will all be affected by all of these things. There are many situations or life events that can affect us and make us feel distressed or less able to cope. And we all respond to life's challenges differently. There's no single right way to react. Some of us are more deeply affected by events than others. How we deal with things can also depend on how well other parts of our life are going, or how well supported we feel. It may be everyday events, one-off experiences, or several things building up. Even experiences that are positive can be difficult to cope with sometimes. How we feel is often a completely natural reaction to challenges, but for some of us, these feelings can become more difficult to manage, especially if they do not go away after a while. So, what can I do to improve my mood? We will look at some of these in a bit more detail. Regarding sleep, watch the video on sleep and read the chapter in the workbook for tips and ideas to improve sleep. So first of all, challenging unhelpful thoughts. The way we think affects the way we feel, and sometimes negative thoughts can stop us from doing the things that we would normally do and are important to us. We might say to ourselves, what's the point, or I can't face it, and this can have a negative effect on our activity levels. It might be unhelpful thoughts about our pain and our future. Maybe we're worried about the pain getting worse. As a result, we can experience self-critical thoughts about being lazy, irresponsible or guilty because we can't do the things we used to do because of the pain or fatigue, and this can make us feel even worse, and then we're able to do less and less. It can help us to challenge these thoughts when we first notice them before they take hold. So one way of doing this is to ask ourselves the following questions. So first of all, what is the evidence there to support this thought? If I think I'm useless, what is the evidence there to support this thought? But what evidence is there to question this thought? And then, what would my best friend or partner say if they heard me thinking in this way? And what would I say to my partner, best friend, if he or she had this thought? So increasing helpful activity. Low mood can stop us doing important or enjoyable activities. So can pain and fatigue. And doing activities is actually a great way of distracting us from those negative thoughts that buzz around in our minds and can generally just make us feel better. So try listing the things you want to do, particularly those things you enjoy, and doing some each day. Research tells us that increased activity is very helpful in managing low mood. But obviously you also need to manage your pain, so use the information about activity management to help you. Very often people with fibromyalgia find that the activities that they end up not doing are the ones that they really enjoy. So during times of low mood, it's important to prioritise those enjoyable activities, perhaps even over some of those activities that perhaps we feel should be done. So do small amount of activities that are important to you each day. It helps to have a routine as well to overcome poor motivation. So, for example, you may walk around the garden for 5 minutes every day after breakfast, or do some craft activities for half an hour after lunch. Having a routine means you're more likely to do it. Be realistic about what you want to achieve. It's good to set some goals as it helps us keep on track, but make sure they're realistic. So you might set an example, say that you want to walk for 10 minutes each day. It can help to make a daily plan and stick to it. Think about activity as being as important as medication in managing your mood. And finally, being kind to yourself. So just as you've learnt about breaking down tasks into manageable chunks to manage your pain and fatigue, it's also important to recognise the need to reduce the pressure when you're feeling low. So consider what you can do to make things easier for yourself. You may have to say no to some situations that will just be too demanding. And give yourself credit for what you do achieve. Remember, every day that you get out of bed is a success. Try to focus on the things you have achieved rather than the things you haven't. You might even want to keep a note of these things. Research has shown that keeping a record of the things we are grateful for has a positive impact on our mood. So consider keeping a gratitude diary to record things that went well or that you feel grateful for each day. These could be really small things. Choose a time in the evening and spend a few minutes jotting down 2 or 3 things you're grateful for from the day. You might like to have a nice notebook, especially for this. And then using relaxation. When we feel particularly stressed or low, our muscles can become tense and our minds can race with thoughts. Sometimes we can feel overwhelmed with the thoughts our minds produce, and it can help to use relaxation exercises to calm the mind and body. There are many different types of relaxations, and because we're all different, different types will appeal to different people. So it's important to try out some different kinds to see what suits you best. Read the chapter in the workbook on managing stress for more ideas. These are some books and websites that may help you with managing your mood. If you feel so low that thoughts of harming yourself or ending your own life have been in your mind, then please visit your GP as soon as possible and ask for help. If you cannot visit your GP and feel that you cannot keep yourself safe, please attend A&E and ask for help from the Mental Health Service. I hope that this presentation has been helpful, but please do ask for help if you need it.